I think for a lot of you that are listening who don't go to church, or maybe this is your first time hearing something from the Bible, this is a story that Jesus shared with people, and the specific reason was to kind of give us an understanding of what God is like as a father. This parable is found in the book of Luke in chapter 15, and it's going to kind of go through like a good amount of text. So I want to kind of break it down and review it in pieces. I want to emphasize one or 2 points here. Number one, that there was 2 sons, and this idea that there's 2 different people that Jesus is kind of going to share about. And what we can identify first is that the younger son was actually going to the father and said, basically, give me my inheritance. And the context of that is very similar to something along the lines of basically saying, Father, you're dead to me. So I would like to end my relationship with you to receive what I feel belongs to me. And so we see that the father actually doesn't deny the younger son. The father says to the younger son, okay, so he gives him what the younger son demands. And remember, this was a very offensive thing. This was somebody saying to their dad, Dad, you're basically dead to me. Let me get my inheritance now. So we see this kind of unfolding, how this son says to his father, Dad, you're dead to me. Give me my inheritance now. Whatever was in the will, I want that to be in place now. So you see the son demanding this thing, and then he goes and he actually spends it all. It says he squanders it. He just wastes it. And so then he finds himself with pigs. And it says that, the scripture says that this younger son, finds himself with pigs, and that he was longing to be fed with the pods that the pigs ate. So this guy was so desperate in his place that he actually began to desire the thing that was meant for the unclean thing. He was actually so desperate that he was looking at what they had, thinking, man, I actually want that. That's how low he fell. I think to break this down a little bit into what would be something culturally relevant for us in our context, it's like we say we don't believe in God, we say we don't want God, we say that stuff it's just a crutch, it's just religious, it's tradition, this and that. But you have somebody here who was basically dismissive of all the Father had to offer him, and then he realizes in his moment of need, he says, man, like I can go to my Father's house and live better than the way I'm living right now. And the thing is that when the father sees him coming, that it says he runs to him. And this actually culturally and historically in that point of time, a man to run was very uncouth. It was not very appropriate behavior. So this man runs because he doesn't care. He sees his son and he runs to him and embraces him. And the funny thing is this, the son begins to define who he is to his father. He began to tell his father, I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. And I've heard people even say, I can't go to church. I might burn up. They say things like, I'm not good. I'm not a good person. I don't belong in church because that's good stuff there, and I'm not good. And the reality is that Jesus is sharing this story with these people, and he's painting a picture for us that there's a son here who identifies himself as being unworthy. He literally tells his father, I am unworthy to be called your son. And so there's a reality here of how God views those who feel unworthy, those who feel distant, those who have literally abandoned their relationship with God. God, you're dead to me. I want to do what I want to do. This is what the son did. He did it to his father. And Jesus is painting this picture of this loving father who says, I know you made decisions. I know you said what you said, but that doesn't matter right now because you were lost and now you're found. And he embraces him and brings him to the house, and he puts these things on him that make him significant in that household. So significant that he is not a slave, he is not a servant, he is literally somebody that sits with the master.